Hello guys, welcome to 𝐶𝐕 Clouds. My name is Vishal Mankar, and today in this video we are going to understand what is relational operators, that is what is comparison operators in Apex. Okay, so using comparator operators we will compare values, make decision and practice. So let's start. Okay, so first we will understand like what we are going to check in this video. Okay, so in this video we are going to check about relational operators, that is comparison operators in Apex. Okay, and we will also practice some real-time examples along with all the operators, that is all the relational operators in Apex. In this slide we will understand how relational operator works. So relational operators in Apex compares two values or more than two values and always return a boolean as a result. Boolean means true or false as a result. They are essential for making decisions in our code, and most of the common we are used in if else statements. Okay, for or any logic that depends on comparing values. Okay, now in the next slide we will understand the real time implementation of the relational operators, but before that we will check what are the key relational operators in Apex. Okay, so first the key relational operators is equals to. As you can see here in the bracket there are two double equals to. Okay, so that means it is checking if two values are same or not. So in the left side there will be one value and in the right side there will be another value, and it is checking if two values are same or not. I will also show you on the developer console. So let's log into the Salesforce. Okay guys, so as you can see here in the anonymous window, I have two variables, that is integer a equals to 1 and integer b equals to 2. Okay, so I am using double equals to, that means equals to comparison operator to check if a and b both are equal or not, and it will return the boolean result, that is either true or false. So let's execute. So as we can see here the result equals to false, that means a is not equals to b. As we can see a is 1 and b is 2 and both are different, so it is returning false. The second relational operator is not equals to, and it is checking if two values are different or not, like if left side value not equals to right side value, it is checking that. Okay, so the not equals to sign is like this, exclamation mark and equal to, that is not equals to. It is checking a and b. If it is not equal to then it is returning true, and if it is equals to then it is returning false. As you can see here the result is true, that means a is not equals to b. Otherwise if it is like equals to then it is returned false, so the answer is true. Third one is greater than. So this is the symbol of greater than. Okay, and it checks if the left value is larger than the right value. Okay, and it is returning true or false. If the left value is larger than the right value then it is returning true, otherwise it is returning false. In the anonymous window we are checking if a is greater than b. Okay, and if it is greater than then it is returning true, otherwise it will return false. As you can see here the result is false, that means a is greater than b, that means false, that means a is not greater than b. As we can see a is 1 and b is 2, 1 is not greater than, that's why it is showing as false. Then we have another relational operator, that is less than. This is the sign of less than, and it is checking if the left value is smaller than the right value. Okay, and it is returning true if the left value is smaller than right value, otherwise it will return false. Here as you can see I am checking if a is less than b. Okay, and it will return true if a is less than b, otherwise it will return false. Let me execute it. So guys, as you can see here the result is true, that means a is less than b. So a is 1 less than 2, that is correct, that is true. Okay, after that we have another key relational operator, that is greater than or equals to. It is checking if the left value is larger or equal to the right value, and it is returning true if the left value is larger or equal to the right value. So let me show you on the anonymous window. So guys, in this example as you can see a greater than equals to b, that is it is checking here if the a is greater than equals to b or not. Okay, and it will return if a is greater, and otherwise it will return the false. Let me execute it. As you can see here the result is false, that means a is not greater than equals to false. So this operator is checking if a is greater than b, then it is returning true, or if a is equals to b then it is also returning true. But in this case a is 1 and 1 is not greater than 2 and not equals to 2, that's why it is returning false. So let's jump on the last relational operator, that is less than or equals to. So this operator checks if the left value is smaller or equal to the right value. That means it will return true. This relational operator, that is less than or equal to operator, it will return true if the left value is smaller or if the left value is equals to the right value. Let me show you on the anonymous window. So guys, as you can see here, I have used the less than equals to operator here, like a relational operator in this system debug. So it will check if A is less than equals to B. Okay, that means it will return true if the A is less than B, or it will also return the true if A is equals to B. That means the condition says that if the A is less than or equals to B, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So let me execute it. As you can see here, the result is true. That means A is less than or equals to B. As we know that A is equals to 1, that means 1 is less than or equals to B. Yes, A is less 1 is less than 2, that true. That means it will return true. So guys, let's jump on next slide. Okay, so in this slide, what we will do, we are gonna implement the relational operators in Apex, and we are also gonna write the code for every relational operators. So here, x and y are integer variables which we are using for the comparison. So let's write this: integer x equals to 8 and integer y equals to 10. So we have written here integer x equals to 8 and integer y equals to 10. So before moving forward, I will explain you what is meant by if else condition. So guys, this is the syntax of if else. So we are writing if, then bracket, and then inside that bracket we are giving the conditions to check, and if this condition is true, that is returning true, then it will execute whatever we return the code inside this block. Otherwise it will execute whatever we code right into the else block. Okay, so let's understand the first example. So the first example is if x equals to y, it is checking if x is equals to y, okay, and it will return false. So let me show you on the anonymous window how it will work. So guys, we are going to understand the equals to relational operator. Okay, so this is the like if else statement. Okay, and this is the condition that we given using the relational operator. So this condition, what we are doing, if we are checking if x is equals to y, okay, and if it returns true, then it will execute the code whatever we return inside this block, this curly brace. That means it will print the system debug, that is this inside if block. Otherwise, if it returns false, then it will execute whatever we write the code inside this curly braces. That means it will print inside else block. So as we know that x is equals to 8 and y is equals to 10, and 8 is equals to 10, that means false, it is not correct. Then it will skip this part and it will directly jump on else part, and it will execute whatever the code which is present inside the second curly braces, that means inside the else condition. So let me execute it. So guys, as you can see here, the answer is inside else block. That means it is checking the condition. Okay, so the condition is false, that means 8 is equals to 10, it is false. Okay, it will skip this if part and it will directly execute the else part. Okay, that's why it is printing inside else block. So we understood the first condition, that is first relational operators in code. So now we will understand the second relational operators in Apex, that is not equals to. As we can see here, if x is not equals to y, that means it is checking if x is not equals to y. Okay, and it will return true if it is not equals. Otherwise, it will return false. So let me show you on the anonymous window. So guys, for the second relational operator, as you can see here, we have two variables x equals to 8 and y equals to 10. So here in the if else condition, what we are checking? We are checking the x is not equals to y. That means x and y, if it is not equals, then it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. So as we know that 8, that is x, and 10, that is y. That means 8 is not equals to 10, that will return true because 8 is not equals to 10. That's why it will execute the if block condition. Okay, that means it will print inside if block. Otherwise, it will print else block. Okay, so let's execute this also. As you can see here, the answer is inside if block. That means 8 is not equals to 10. That means it will return true. Okay, so let's jump on another relational operator. So the third relational operator is less than. That means if x is less than y, it will check if x is less than y or not, and it will return true when the x is less than y. Okay, so I will explain you on the anonymous window. So guys, for the third example, we are checking the less than relational operator. As you can see here, we have one if else condition, that is if x is less than y or not. Okay, that means it is checking, this if condition is checking x is less than y or not. That means 8 is less than 10. That is true because 8 is less than 10. So that's why it will execute this if block and it will skip this else block. Okay, and it will print the inside if block. So let me show you. As you can see here, when I click on execute, it prints inside if block. That means it is executing this system debug. That means the code inside the if block. So let's jump on another relational operator. So the fourth relational operator is greater than. So the syntax is x is greater than y. So here it will check if the x is greater than y or not. And if it is greater, then it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. So let me show you on the anonymous window. So guys, in this fourth relational operator, that is greater than operator, so we are checking inside this if condition if x is greater than y or not, and it will return true if the x is greater than y. Otherwise, it will return false. And if it is returned true, then it will execute this block. So keep one thing in mind: if this bracket condition returns true, then only it will return the if block. Otherwise, it will return the else block. So in this condition, x is greater than y, that means false. 8 is not greater than y, that means 8 is not greater than 10. So it will skip this if block and it will print the, or it will execute the else block. That means it will print the inside else block. So let me execute it. So as you can see here, the answer is inside else block. That means this condition is false and it skips the if condition and it prints the else condition. That means it is printing inside else block. So let's jump on next relational operator. So the fifth relational operator is less than equals to. So this condition, that is if x is less than equals to y, this condition checks if x is less than or equals to y. Okay, if x is less than, then it will return true, or if it is equals to y, then it will also return true. Okay, let me show you on the anonymous window. So guys, in this less than equals to relational operator, what we are checking the condition inside the if block, that is if x is less than equals to y. As we know that x is 8 and y is 10. 8 is less than equals to y. That means it is returned true because 8 is less than y. That's why it will execute the if block and it will skip the else block. So let me show you by clicking execute button. So as you can see here, the system debug prints inside if block. That means the if block condition. So this is the example of less than equals to. Okay, so let's jump on last relational operator, that is greater than or equals to. So in this relational operator, what it is checking, if x is greater than or equals to y. That means it is checking if x is greater than or equals to y, and it will return true if it is greater. Otherwise, it will return false. Let me show you on the anonymous window. So guys, in this example of greater than or equals to, what we are checking in the if condition, we are checking if x is greater than or equals to y. And if it is greater than or equals to y, then it is returning true and we are executing if. Otherwise, we are executing the else block. So here the x is 8 and y is 10. So 8 is greater than, no, or equals to, no. That means it will return false. So it will skip this if block and print the else block. So guys, as you can see here, the answer is inside else block. That means this condition is false and that's why it is skipping the if condition and it is executing the else conditions. Now we have implemented all the relational operators that is present into the Apex, okay, on the anonymous window. So let's jump on next slide. So guys, in this slide, what we are checking the voting eligibility with the code. That means we are checking the real-time example of the vote eligibility. Okay, so here, as you can see here in the first point, the age check condition checks the voting eligibility by comparing age to 18. Okay, so let me show you on the anonymous window. In this real-time example, what we are checking, let's say we have one integer variable, that is age, which 25 as a value. That means my age is 25. Okay, and here we are checking the condition, that is if age is greater than equals to 18. That means if the age of the person is greater than equals to 18, then he is eligible for voting. Otherwise, he is not eligible for voting. So let me execute it. So guys, as you can see here, the answer is you are eligible for voting. Why? Because age is 25. That means 25 is greater than 18. That means greater than or equals to 18. That is returning true because the 25 is greater than 18. So that's why it is executing the whatever the logic or whatever the code inside the if block. So that is, it is printing the you are eligible for voting. Okay. So let me change the conditions. That means age to the 10 and let me execute it. As we know that 10 is greater than or equals to 18, that is false. 10 is not greater than or not equals to 18. That's why it will skip this if part and it will execute the else part. Let me execute it. Here the output is you are not eligible for voting. That means this condition is false, and it is keeping this if condition and it is printing the else condition. So guys, now we have checked on the code, that is the real-time example of the vote eligibility checking. Okay, and this simple age comparison shows how the relational operator works in the real life decisions. Okay, let me jump on the next slide. So guys, in this slide, I will explain you what are the key benefits of relational operators. So what are the things we can do using the relational operators? So first is relational operator compare values, okay, to guide decision making in code. As we know that, let me show you on the anonymous window. As we know that, so using the conditions, that is using the if block, we can check the condition here and we can execute the logic based on the condition. Like if the condition is satisfied, then it will execute this logic. If it is not satisfied, then it will execute the another logic. So here we are comparing, okay, we are comparing the variables here inside the if block using the relational operators. And second is use condition like if age is greater than equals to 18 to check the eligibility or limits. So for example, here as you can see, I have checked one condition here, that is age is greater than equals to 18. We have to check the null check. That means we have to check if this condition is true. That means if that variable is null or not. Like we have to check the conditions or check the validations here. Okay, using the relational operators. So the common use cases of the relational operators are like checking the price and validation, or checking the different conditions inside the if block. So these are the common uses of the relational operators. Fourth one is the if-else structure helps to run different code paths based on the conditions. As I already told you, if-else condition helps us to execute the different piece of code based on the condition. Like if this condition is true, then it will execute this piece of code. If this condition is false, then it will execute this piece of code. So by using the if-else structure, we can run the different codes based on the condition. Fifth one is, for example, if age is greater than equals to 18, then it is printing you can vote. Otherwise, you are not eligible to vote. It will print like this. So by using these kind of conditions, we have to do the operation. We have to perform the logic. Okay, so we have to use the relational operators as much as we can into the our Apex code, so that our Apex code should not break, and our code should be run for all the conditions. And the sixth and last is we have to practice using relational operators a lot. That's why I given you the example PDF, and that is attached into the description of the video. Please download it and practice all the conditions that I mentioned to master the relational operators. Let's jump on next slide. So in this slide, we are going to understand what are the key factors of relational operators in Apex. Okay, so the first is using the relational operators, we can compare the values and return the true or false as a result. Okay, as we can use the if else block, and it is executing the different conditions based on the result, that is true or false. Second is enable decision making powers in Apex programming. So using the relational operators, we can get the power to make the decision and execute the different logic based on our result of the decision. Okay, so that's why we are using the if else condition. Third, control program flow using the conditions like if else. So by using the if else condition, we can control the flow of the program. Okay, we can like control which piece we have to execute if this logic is satisfied, then which piece of code we have to execute if this condition is not satisfied. So we can control the flow using the if else condition. And the fourth and last is simplify eligibility checks, limits and validations. So if we have to check the any limits, we have to check any conditions, or we have to validate something, then we have to use if else condition there, and we have to use relational operators in that condition. So guys, that's all for today's video. Now you know how to use the relational operators to compare values. And in next video, we will check how the logical operator works in the Apex. Okay, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and like, share and comment to my video. And if you have any questions or any suggestion, please comment it down. And one more thing guys, I have attached the one file of examples that you have to practice into the description of the video. Please download it and practice it. Okay, so and if you are new to my channel, please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon. And also I have attached all the social media links into the description of the video. You can join there so that you will get all the latest notification about anything happens in my YouTube channel. So thank you so much guys.